All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Trek Talk. I'm TechMan16.
And I'm here.
And I'm Handy.
And this is our new theme song. All right, that's our new theme song.
Are you gonna get a license to play that?
Hello.
I have no idea. Well, it depends. I don't know what the rules are in terms of what you can use for sampling or how long it has to be.
It only matters.
Whatever record.
Videos.
We just want to say that whatever record company is listening to this, just remember whose name is on the channel.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
So
yeah, I'm sure the record companies are totally going to be listening to this, because the record companies have nothing better to do than watch how Star Trek fits in with Eric Clapton's cocaine.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure that computers go around and just sample everything on the internet looking for shit like that.
They do.
That's possible.
They hit DJ's podcast for the music he was playing. He got sued.
Sued, or his thing was taken down?
Sued.
I'm sure he just got a letter, right?
Yeah, he got a letter saying, "Pay us this much money, or you're gonna get sued." And
right.
Okay. But also, he has monetized videos. Are your videos monetized?
No,
mine are not.
Then you don't have to worry about anything.
Well, technically, the YouTube policy has changed where all videos are monetized, regardless of whether you want to be part of the program or not. So they get ads on my videos, but I don't. So sue YouTube. Anyways, let's talk about the latest episode of Lower Decks. Cook, did you see it?
Hang on, I'm getting coffee.
No,
that's how much we care about Lower Decks.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, I gotta say that I did not watch it. I'll get around to it eventually.
No, I did watch it. It was actually a really, really good episode.
I completely agree. I am pleasantly surprised by the callbacks, the Star Trek: The Next Generation, the way in which the original show was used and how they're bringing it back. And I don't know, maybe I like Badass Riker. Do you like Badass Riker?
I do, but I also love that little part that he put in, basically saying, as much fun as all these constant battles are, he misses the quiet days on the luxury liner Enterprise.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the crew of the Titan who are in battles all the time, and they were making jokes about the fact that it's like every day is another battle and stuff. And they were and they said that Riker must have been bored with concerts and plays and Shakespearean plays and like the luxury cruise on the 7 years of the Enterprise, how boring that must have been. And Boimler is like, I like those things. That's what I got into Starfleet for, to explore and to seek out peaceful coexistence and diplomacy. And then, of course, they're all breaking down saying, what they actually got into Starfleet for. And then Boimler was talking to Riker later in the episode, and he's like, I like that stuff. And Riker's like, I miss those days. That was a great 7 years.
And it's true. It's like every scene that I've seen the Titan in so far in Lower Decks, it's always like battle, action. I think it does a wonderful job of making fun of Alex Kurtzman and J.J. Abrams' Trek. I'm like,
exactly, and that was the whole point of that whole part, was to say, Yeah, you get all this new stuff is about action, but that stuff was nice too.
Yeah, exactly. And even in an interview with Abrams, right? He was like, I don't know Star Trek. I wanted to make it more like Star Wars, which explains so much.
And then, of course, he went and fucked up Star Wars.
Yeah, whatever. It's Star Wars. That show was action anyway. Action and space wizards with their magic sticks.
And yet, JJ managed to fuck it up.
You stealing my terms and biting my rhymes.
Yeah. What you gonna do about it? You gonna complain to the record company? I took Eric Clapton, sampled Eric Clapton's song.
I could have like, listen to this poor shitty quality. No, it's there. I promise. You just have to listen really hard.
Yeah, the quality was kind of bad on that.
Yeah, next time I think you just need to sample the real audio file and play it through the computer.
You know what I'll do is I'll edit
from the baby's camera. Or, what was that baby radio thing?
I'll edit it in post. How about that? I'll get the real audio file and edit it in post.
Well, no, leave a crappy one for this recording.
Oh, okay, sure.
That gives it context for what we're talking about.
Exactly. You can't play a good thing and then have us play, talking shit about it.
Yeah, I mean, people got to understand why we're smashing on you right now.
Wait, isn't that the theme anyway? I do something good and everybody smashes on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
that just sounds wrong in so many ways.
Yeah, you can take that in any way you want. That was
just
reminds me of this.
It.
Just lean into it.
That's what she said.
I was to completely segue out of the realm of what the hell we're talking about. I was listening. Yeah, I know, but like to completely segue out of it, I was listening to a radio show. Or not a radio show. It's on YouTube. It's called The Atheist Experience, where theists of all sorts call in and talk about their existence of God and whatnot. And one of the hosts was like, "Look, man, you can cherry pick passages any way you want. So the Bible or the Quran can mean whatever you want it to mean based on what you pick from it." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds right." To segue back into here, you can do something good, and everybody else says, "Yeah, you suck, dude."
That was a really long metaphor to get what you wanted to say.
Yeah, but I had to provide context.
You actually
moving on.
You actually lost me halfway through.
Me too. Now. I was like,
"Well,
what are you getting at?"
Well, you guys are easy to lose.
Fair enough.
Anyways, so transitioning from lower decks, because lower decks is awesome, and go check it out. And Cook, you forgot to mention the best part of the episode with Boimler.
Oh, I didn't do a synopsis of the episode. You did that last week.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I did that last week, but whatever. But
you want me to do a synopsis?
No. I want you to talk about the best part of the episode that happened with Boimler.
Okay. Well, you guys remember Thomas Riker? Well, now we have Boimler did the same thing. In fact, he even did it on purpose. And then when it actually occurred, he's like, "Oh crap, this isn't exactly what I had in mind." They're trapped in an area where they can't transport out, and they go and Boimler remembers about he's arguing with these other officers about, how great those 7 years on the Enterprise was, and then talks about the transporter accident, and it reminds him, "Oh, hey, we can use that same technique." And then, of course, he becomes two Boimlers. One stays on the Titan, the other one goes back to the Cerritos. And the one disappointing part I had with that was they didn't actually say what happens to Thomas Riker after he spent time in that Cardassian prison. For those that don't know, in Next Generation, there was a transporter accident that happened before Riker became first officer of the Enterprise, when he was Lieutenant Riker. and it created two Rikers. When they went back to this original mission on the Enterprise, they found that there was a second Riker that had never actually beamed off of the crash site on this planet and had been living for the last 8 years on a crashed ship. And
he was quite bitter about it.
He was quite bitter, yeah. He even changed his name from William Thomas Riker to just Thomas Riker. And the two Rikers were very different for being identical people. Fast forward to Deep Space Nine, and there's an episode where Thomas Riker joined the Maquis and hijacks the Defiant and tries to show that there was a joint venture between the Tau Shiar and the Obsidian Order of building cloaked Cardassian Gala-class ships. Of course, that's then later revealed to be an attack force to hit the Dominion, and it leads into so many different things. But Thomas Riker then surrenders the Defiant to Ben Sisko, and for the crew, the Maquis crew, to be given Federation prison sentences instead of Cardassian prison sentences, he allows himself to be taken by the Cardassians. And so the last time we see him, he's going to a Cardassian prison. So, considering they mentioned him in the Cerritos episode, I was kind of hoping they'd be like, oh, well, here's where Thomas Riker is now. But
we'll see. No, they may yet do that.
They can still do that. And then the Boimlers are very different. One is regular old Boimler that goes back to the Cerritos, and then the new transporter accident Boimler is kind of like the Will Riker of the Titan.
Yeah. He didn't even ask to be called Will.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that was great.
Where'd DJz go? I thought he was going to come up to the stage.
I guess we weren't him. We weren't talking about dumpster fires.
Apparently not. Yeah. We were too busy talking about other things. But I want to give a shout out to UltimateDJz. I want to thank him for mentioning this podcast on the air and giving us some airtime afterwards.
Yeah, I listened to that this morning.
I was looking forward to the opportunity to verbally banter with him about his opinions.
Oh, yeah. We went off hard.
I wanted to fire back a little bit.
Yeah, he was going off on Nona in that podcast last night after Tech left the podcast.
I followed everything he was saying, but don't know that I agree with. I mean, at the very end, he did, bring up some good points that other people brought up to him, that server health, and that's what it's all about. And yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell if you listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I extended the invitation out to anybody on server 15 because he wanted to do the same thing for server 15, and they're like, "No, don't talk about our server." And
why is it a big?
I have no qualms.
Secret? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I have no qualms about it. So I'm like, come on my show, and we'll do the dumpster fire on our podcast, and then you could come out unscathed. And then all of a sudden, as soon as I mention, hey, people, come on up and talk, they're like, me? No, not me.
It's so strange to me. I mean, maybe we desensitized our server with it, that a lot of people are willing to talk, but I just don't get it.
Well, it goes along with what we were talking about. For example, why a lot of people don't follow our Instagram, because then we could actually see who they are. And people, you get a lot of confidence when people don't know who you are. And that's how most of these folks are. They'll run their mouths because it's under condition of anonymity. And all we have is a screen name and the sound of somebody's voice, and, good luck trying to find it. And people know that. So, but you can even take it a step further, where some people, they're just afraid to even let their voice be heard. They're so paranoid, they lose that kind of false sense of confidence. So if you're out there and you're listening to this, yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you're a pansy. Yeah, you need to come on the show and fight me.
That's our unofficial slogan. It's cocaine and fight Kirk.
Yeah,
fight me. So
Which
we
leads us
obviously
to-
don't mind pointing out the
Our next
bullshit
rule:
here
we
on the
don't
show.
talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
No, we talk about we talk about it here. We call motherfuckers out, man. I'm just saying. Like, it's pretty raw. That's why I'm here. That's why Handy's here. Handy's a lot nicer than me. Instead of calling you a jackass, he'll just say that what you're doing is a little silly.
I am a bit nice sometimes. A little too nice, probably.
But if you know him personally and you speak to him personally like we do, you would know that him saying that you're being silly is basically him saying that your mother's a whore.
This is almost like you two have like a McCoy-Spock relationship. Kirk, you're the McCoy and Handy's the Spock.
That tracks.
And so I'm Jim. Is that how that works?
Yeah, I guess so.
You are commanding the show.
No. You're not. None of you, no one here is good enough to be Kirk. I'm not even good enough to be Kirk, and it's in my fucking name.
You don't get no argument from me there.
But surely you cannot be serious.
Stop. Just stop, or we're gonna kick you the fuck out. Just stop.
I see a server mute in Cook's future.
In any case, going back to DJs, I want to thank him. And if anybody else is stumbling upon this podcast and you're on one of the servers that we haven't covered, please get in contact with myself, Kirk, or Handy, and come on the show. Talk about your server. I think it'll be a fun experience to get to know new servers, because we've done server 9, 25 that have merged, 190, 196 that have merged. We've done 38. We've done 12. 147. That lazy server merge with 146. So there's plenty of other servers out there. Come on the show. It'll be fun.
You follow up with them, right, Tech? So
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's a positive thing. I mean, getting people on here talking about it, gets people talking about it. Like, there's lots of old feuds that are now being worked out. And, just because they came on the show and talked about it. So 9 times out of 10, it's a good thing,
I'd say so. I'd say it's a good thing. With server. Go ahead.
I just want to say that I want to stress, I can't stress enough, new servers, because we're sick and tired of hearing about these other servers. So we're ready to move on to other things.
Right. We want a new server to talk to.
Right.
People are sick.
So I'm calling
people are
out.
sick of hearing about ours.
Yeah, well, no, people are not sick of hearing about ours. Believe me.
People love it.
So calling out server 15, all of you guys. I was told to contact a guy named Ezo. Apparently he's a legend on server 15. So come on the show and talk about it. Or Tall Bear. I don't know who these people are. If you know who they are, tell them to come on the show. But let's switch over to Fox, Zero Fox. He's one of the first level 50 bros on server 34. And he was lit up last night and was like, I got something to say. So, how you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
How you been?
It's, I don't know, 50's weird. You finally get there and then nothing really seems to matter much anymore in the game. I don't know. I do my duties and I don't know if other 50s say that or.
I mean, yeah, to an extent. I mean, I still have plenty to do, I feel like.
Do we need to have like a level 50 hotline for those of you who are feeling like, hey, I'm just down and out, and they'll be like, you can serve. Eventually, they'll come out with new levels. You can just hang in there. The world's your oyster. Yada 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 yada.
That's a good
Or we could even take it a step further. You could just call your accountant, and they can make you feel bad about thinking about quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just look at your bank statement anytime you're thinking about quitting the game, and you'll be like, "Oh, fuck that! I'm sticking with it."
Yeah. I'm well,
So
and
are
it's
you?
tough. I mean, one thing in Dark, Nash has kind of quit. He's on the sidelines or whatever. So that's shaking us up a little bit.
Why is he?
Why? So I heard that he kind of took a hiatus after we recorded our truck talk episode. What's do you know why he kind of not quit, but taking a break?
Not exactly. No, I just, he said he wanted to take a break, and I can get that. So he doesn't know if he's going to come back either. So.
Have you been active lately? Because before.
Oh yeah, I'm on every day. I mean, I'm on 3-4 hours every day. So.
Okay. All right. What do you do as a level 50? Because you're higher in power than Handy, right?
What's that?
You're higher in power than Handy, right? So you can give us an insight.
Maybe.
You can give us insight as to what the non-level 50 Handies do.
Well, I do my dailies. I mine. I do everything everybody else does. So.
I got a good question here. What made you let's be honest here, because that's what we do here. Let's be honest. People aren't level 40 and 41 and higher right now in our server without having spent money, and especially like at level 50. And we're not going to discuss. We always make jokes about how much money we spend and all that stuff. But what was the drive to continue on? This is something that I'm interested in. This is something I want to pursue. What was the drive to make it that high, to go that high?
For me, I don't. It's a little bit of the probably obsessive compulsive. I don't know. It's the wanting to support my alliance and be able to beat anybody on the server, which I still can't do. So I don't know. There's always a bigger fish.
I mean, you can beat most people on the server. That should be pretty good, right?
Yep.
I mean,
I think
we all know in life that there's always a stronger motherfucker right around the corner.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You can kill but 10 people on the server. I think that's pretty good.
And there's people on other servers that would, I'm sure would beat Inko. So.
Not for long.
Yeah, so I guess I don't, you kind of.
There aren't that many people that could be
Probably not, but there's one or two maybe.
Yeah, but that's where we get back to, because that brings me to an interesting point here, and it'll give us definitely something to talk about. Is when we were talking about it last show or the show before, I can't remember. Where we were talking about what is the drive behind people playing, and then, one of the things that I was talking about was that, you have different types of people that play. You have the people that are kind of like where Fox is, like I want to be the biggest, the baddest, and da 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 da. And then you have people who fall somewhere in the middle, and then you have people that are kind of more along what I do nowadays. It's just I enjoy unlocking new things, leveling up, getting the new ship, being able to level up this officer that's going to, serve me pretty well and things like that. And it definitely presents a different approach depending upon the person. So it's just very interesting to see that there's not everybody has the same goal. Like somebody asked the question many episodes ago, how do you win the game? How do you win? Well, you can win depending upon your goal. You want to have the highest power destroyed, you win. You want to have the highest power, you win. You want to have the biggest ship, you win, And so there's just so many different ways to win based on the individual's playstyle.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. My goal was to get the Enterprise, the big one, and yeah, it took some money, and a lot of time, but that's probably why I'm where I'm at today, because I have that ship now, and now it's like I'm grinding ROM, and it's like, I'll get the review eventually. But
Are you happy with the Entei? Do you like it?
I do, but it gets its ass kicked by the Tribune, so it's like everything in this game. There's always some way to lose and win, and it changes over time because, in my 30s, we were raiding everybody, every channel. I raided all the time, and the resources went towards something. But you get up in the upper 40s, and you can't raid enough to build your stuff, so it kind of becomes pointless. So then you find something else that's fun about the game, and yeah, leveling up officers or figuring out crews, that stuff's fun. But I think it changes over time too,
Good. Did you have a like rivalry with Chemo about who gets higher faster?
No, I don't think so. There's probably more, with like Crash'em and those guys in MCRN or whatever. When we were fighting all the time, it'd be like back and forth. You got to up your ship to beat them, and they got up the ship to beat us, and that drove us a lot, But we don't fight with them anymore, really, either. So.
Right. Yeah. That was during those wars with Orion Star, who started all of that stuff.
Yeah, ancient history.
Back when that's back when, for some reason, everybody would completely forget that Stinky existed. Like you just be duking it out, and all of a sudden, here comes this ridiculously powered ship at a time where those ships weren't very plentiful.
Yep.
And you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. That person plays this game and is a major powerhouse."
Does he still play?
Yeah,
he's been like the quietest person I've ever seen on the server.
Right now, his Pylum right now is out in Kronos. I just saw it.
Well, Obi's
I never tried.
Officer Bod's very similar. Like, he's pretty quiet.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There really are a lot of people in this game who are not very visible, but then you see them and you almost forget about them every time because they don't really start shit. They don't talk to people, and then you see them and you're like, oh right, there's a 49. I forgot that person existed, or there's another 50 I forgot existed, or something. And just because they're not involved in kind of the day-to-day things that we are, they just kind of play their own game and mind their own business.
Officer Karsten's another one. He doesn't really talk to many people.
Yep.
So, did you ever you get the beta sector, Foxy?
What's that?
You got the beta sector?
What's the beta sector?
Beta
the
sector
very
is
top of the map.
the upper right system.
Yeah, I've been up there.
Grinding for Nintendo controllers. Do you do any of that?
Yeah, then.
Nah, I did it a little bit. I don't do much of it right now.
Nico's done a ton of it, and he seems to think that the expansion's going to have something to do with it, so he's been stocking up.
Why would you guess that's right,
Probably.
You ever try hitting that board cube?
There's that combat research tree way over there on the right. It's all that assimilated stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
You ever try hitting that
cube? So
that cube, yeah. For those of you that have no idea what we're talking about, it's there in beta sector. When you're level, I believe 48, I think you can unlock that path. And once you're there is this there's this mission boss, which is a 100 million power Borg cube that like you can barely scratch. Like you can throw anything you want at that thing, and then nothing will.
It's basically a level hostile. It's a yellow hostile, and It's not an armada, but it fights like one. So you're basically soloing a yellow armada boss. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I blew up a
Well,
few ships and quit trying. It's impossible. So
well, I
at this
suspect
level,
that's going to come into play at some point. You know what I mean?
yep.
You get the G5, Doomsday Worm ship or whatever the hell they're going to come out with. It's going to be more powerful than the stuff they have going on.
I hope they don't make a ship for us that's a worm. That would be
You're gonna buy it. You'll buy 3 packs. You'll get 2.
No, I'm not flying a worm.
You said
reminds
you
me
were
of that
talking the same. You were talking that same smack about the Meridian, and then you're like, "Yeah, I got like 15 of them now." You can't help yourself.
Did I say that? I don't know that I said that.
You did.
I don't know.
By the way, the Meridian is definitely more phallic looking than a worm. Just saying.
I just don't. I don't. I'm just not. I'm not spending money on that. That ship's stupid. And then all of a sudden, this Meridian is the best thing ever. We're fucking fighting everybody over it.
Yeah, that's pretty how it went down. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I know. And for those of you, I just want to say, for those of you listening, just so you know, we're on the same team. He's one of the Commodores on the team that I'm on. So.
Yeah, and people said the North Star was stupid, and then look at the Meridian, the golden North Star.
The North Star doesn't make sense to me, and for most people, when you get into higher levels. When you're lower levels, it makes sense. But in the higher levels, it's kind of like, I scrapped that damn thing back when I was like level 29 or 30.
The North Star is that episode from Enterprise with that mining ship that got pissed with the Nausicaans, and instead of carrying the load around, started hunting all the Nausicaans. It is not for mining; it's for killing at the low levels. It's like the Tribune for
Tell
the.
Tell that to Tech.
I just did.
I still use it to mine G3.
Yeah, but you played a
In fact-
game for like 35 seconds on every leap year.
That's probably very true. I've actually been more active recently.
Yeah, he's been hunting in Eclipse Armada space.
Hunting? I've been hunting?
hitting Armadas.
Oh yeah, I guess that's what you call hunting.
Yeah, whatever. I'm still on my first cup of coffee.
How many cups do you need?
I usually
As
drink
many
a
as
pot
it takes.
before I leave for work.
How many? Wait, how many? I didn't hear that.
I usually drink a pot of coffee before I leave for work.
A pot? A pot of coffee?
Yeah, like three, 4 cups. And then I go
Wow.
and I have like 2 or 3 more cups.
I breakdown.
And then I drink like 2-3 gallons of water, and then around 6 o'clock I switch to whiskey.
I don't drink any coffee ever.
You're missing out.
Yeah,
I like my caffeine addiction.
it's delicious.
It's delicious. I mean, I've tried to.
I drink my coffee black, nothing in it.
I tried to do the whole thing just to fit in with the crowd of people trying to drink either straight black coffee or whatever you want to call it when you put in cream and sugar in it. And I'm just like, this. Why do people do this? This is just gross.
Well,
to me, it was kind of like smoking. Like I wanted to fit in, but
you probably weren't doing it right.
I wasn't doing it right.
In my defense, when I was in middle school, my family had a coffee house with 50 different kinds of roasted beans. And so I was around beans growing up. And so
it smells good. Like it smells
smells
great. And then you take it, or for me, when I took a sip of it, I'm like, this is disgusting. Who
Well,
does
it's got to
this?
be the right coffee. You got to drink the right coffee, dude. Most
All right.
coffee are disgusting.
Anyway, enough of coffee talk.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Trek Talk where
Episode
we
of
don't have anything to talk about. So we're just
So
talking
far.
about bullshit. Actually, Handy, let's talk about something that we discussed yesterday that was actually something really good, which was let's talk about these people that are running armadas that they really should not be running. It's almost like picking a fight with someone and then calling your big brother to come handle business.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that.
Hey, I went there with the knowledge and said to you guys, hey, I want to run deep space armadas for the loot that I can't do in my alliance. You know, obviously I have no business doing that, but I need it and I need the help. That's why I came to you guys. I'm sorry.
I didn't even know you ran any deep space armadas. Apparently, I didn't show up to any of them.
Damn.
Like 20 of them.
Damn.
Actually, Smooth and I did an epic one, the epic level 42, just the two of us.
Yeah,
So basically, Smooth did it.
Right.
Just the two of us.
Very good, Kirk. Keep going.
Oh, fuck you. Now that everybody's paying attention, I don't want to. I was hoping it would be background stuff, and now I'm embarrassed. Time to move on. Anyway.
That actually sounded better than what I put on earlier.
Yeah, actually, that was pretty good.
Hey, now I can sing sometimes, I guess. Maybe. Moving on. So with these armadas, I think the point that we were talking about yesterday was that too often you have somebody with like a 2.5 mil enterprise, and they're like using a discovery or moving their base so they can get further out, and they're running, level 42 epics, and then they're going around begging all the level 50s or 49s or high levels to show up. And we were kind of talking about, how it's not very conducive to, the alliance growth as a whole, and it's pretty. Number one, it's a very greedy mentality. Number one, but number two, because you have all those high levels, you actually are getting less loot than if you ran a sensibly sized armada with people around your level. You would actually get more loot.
Well, the only other loot,
everybody would.
The only other loot they can go for, or the only other armadas would be the 39 epic. The next level up is a 42. Hang on. So, for somebody who's right on the cusp, and can get to the space or move their base there or whatever, I think it's totally fine that people are doing that. I really do. However, they definitely need to arrange it. They need to make sure they have the support. They need to message a few players and say, hey, man, are you online? Would you be able to help? Et cetera, et cetera. Because what ends up happening is the only one who ever shows up to help is Smooth, because he feels like he's just a good guy. So he's if he sees it, he's going to show up. That's just how it is. And he pays. He also pays a lot of attention. Like he just pays attention to what's being run. Whereas like me, if I'm working, and I'm just out, doing stuff during the day or whatever, and I run an armada, because I see there's 4 level 50s on or whatever, I'd pop a 46. I'll start it, and then I won't know if I won or not for another half an hour, because like I'm doing stuff and I don't even check. I don't know who went. I don't know if I won or not. I don't know nothing. All I know is I started it, and that was that. And so a lot of our guys do that. Like Inco does the same thing. We all do, because we're working during the day. But see, that's when everybody's kind of online. So if we want to run those, that's when we got to do it. Now for lower level,
is it a bigger problem for bigger guys showing up to the lower level ones, taking up the smaller guys' slots and spots?
Well, I think that happens also, especially like on the weekends and whatnot when people are more active. I've seen it many times where bigger guys show up to the smaller armadas, and the reason for that is usually when the smaller guys are running them, because it happens so often that the smaller guys start them and want the bigs to show up to ensure that they win, because they want that leader chest, which I totally get. Like, it makes sense. But what ends up happening is whoever ran it does not star anybody, right? So what ends up happening is you've got the level 42 guys, the level 44 guys, 46 guys that have appropriately sized ships for that armada that really should be the ones in it. And then you've got a bunch of level 50s joining that should be starred out. And they're not being starred out because either people are busy, just like I was saying earlier, like happens to me all the time. I get busy and I don't pay attention, or they don't want to lose, so they just let it run. Or maybe, I mean, I don't know. I guess people would need to tell me what their thought process is, because I really don't know. I'm just speculating here. But it seems like people maybe don't want to upset the level 50s because they don't want them to not show up, because they know that one day when, you know, they run one and really want to win, and if they start starring out the level 50s, maybe they won't show up next time when they really need them. You know, I just don't know. I don't know.
I think it's a combination of both, because I've been on. I know, you know, I remember what it was like to, like, you can finally run a rare or an epic, because, you know, there for a while, you know, it was kind of a lot harder to be able to run those and utilize those. And you run them, and you're kind of, you know, praying to God all the big people show up, because you just want to win. You don't care. You just want to get those chests. So I've definitely seen that, and I've been in that position when I was, you know, lower level, a much lower level. But now I see it where I think it's just become so conditioned, where you bigger players are so used to being hit up about them, that when you see one, you just automatically send a ship with the knowledge that if they don't need you, they'll star you out. But then, as you said, there's something that happens where people, and there's going to be one or two things. Number one, they're desperate to win and they don't care, so they'll have, like, you know, 115 million power on a 39 mil armada, and they just want to win. And number one, or number two, they set it and forget it, like what most of us do. When I run armadas, I don't sit there. I'll run an armada, and like you say, I might come back later, realize I lost it, and then somebody else has taken it, and I'm like, ah, shit, oh well. So I think it's a combination of both.
Probably,
Fox,
but I do think. Okay, go ahead.
What's it like for you running armadas?
Well, I mean, we've always had a pretty loose rule that just, you know, run your own and don't bitch if you don't get in or whatever.
I mean, so do you have a bunch of level 50s showing up to a 42 epic?
What's that?
Do you have a lot of high level players showing up to a 42 epic?
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much said 40 is kind of the spot. If you're a higher level, don't go at anything under 40. So yeah, we can get 350s at a 42 epic. But we try to run a lot of them. I mean, there really is no good way to do armadas. There isn't.
No, it's a tricky subject, which is why I brought it up.
Yeah.
And I even did a meeting with some of the guys from Nona, and then recorded it and released it to the rest of the alliance, just kind of discussing it, because I think there's a lot of confusion, or people that don't know the best way to handle it. You know, of course, it's something we've all talked about before, but I don't know, it'd be nice to come up with some kind of game plan to help people navigate it. You know, something simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, but.
Well, and one thing, you know, I've noticed, we always say in Alliance chat, you know, PM for a star if you want one. And I think I've gotten 1 PM in the last 300 armadas. So when I see that, I don't think there's a problem.
I know, that's a funny thing. Yet you'll have somebody that consistently, and I know this happens in every big alliance, I'm sure MCRN or, you know, whatever, you know, some of the top alliances have the same issues to a varying degree. But I mean, people show up to a bunch of armadas back to back, and the deep space armadas are not easy to get to for some of these guys. I mean, a level 42, I mean, he may be Maybe he rushed to home base to swap his ship out, swap his crew out, and then he uses his disco and he sends it out there, and then he summons. Then he joins the Armada, and then
he gets bumped.
And then he gets freaking bumped. It's like, fuck. And then that
Yeah,
happens
but on the
5
other
or
side,
6 times in a row. And now I understand that he could have just asked for a star, but let's be real here. If everybody wants to get into our Armada. Everybody. There isn't a single person that showed up because they didn't want it. The only people that really don't care are the level 50s, 49s, that are like, I get into pretty much everyone I send to, so whatever. It's not a big deal. Star me out. I don't care. I don't need to get into every single one because I get into a lot of them just by showing up. So for the people out there that's running them, you need to star some of these guys out when you don't need them. Like if you have at least half the power of the Armada, you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, when I was there yesterday running them, there was actually an Armada I starred you out of, mainly for the laughs. But
no, I noticed that. I was like,
did
good
notice
job.
that?
Yeah, it's like good job. I didn't say anything.
I don't know if you did notice, but I was trying to incorporate some lower levels if I saw like 250s there, I try, and there was like 43s or 41s or even 40s. I was like, yeah, I'll star these guys because I know we have the power with the 50s. Just to make sure that everyone got an equal chance. Because, I mean, heck, I was there because I don't have a chance to be able to run these with my alliance.
Well, you have a unique perspective, right? So it's an oddity for you because you're going to pay attention. But for us, it's like, I mean, shit, there may be 20 Armadas running a day, or 30 or 40 or 50 even.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. But I mean,
we run a crap ton of them. So,
well, like, I asked TM for a star the other night, and he didn't give it because he was so busy. We were chatting around in Alliance chat. He forgot to give me the star. He felt bad. I didn't. It was funny because he did give a star to Chef, and everyone kept mixing up me and Chef.
Well, it's because you changed your name to Chef Cook.
Chef asked me to.
Well, that's your fault for listening to him.
On the other side of that coin, though, the one thing that people, when you start talking about stars, there are 2 people in Nona who almost pretty much anytime I run an Armada, and I'm the one that calls it, inevitably I get a PM. Hey, can you give me a star? Hey, can you give me a star? And here's the thing. I don't mind giving somebody a star. As I've stated before, I'm at a point where I play the game at a certain way, so I'm not clamoring to get up in higher level. I don't need all the loot. I don't mind. I don't mind risking a little here and there. It's fine. I'm just here to enjoy the game now. But think about when you're constantly asking every Armada, you're always asking for a star. It's kind of like I hate to say it, but it's almost like feeding a stray dog. You know what I mean? Like they just keep coming back around and back around. So to those people, understand that, yeah, people want to help you out, but don't be that guy or that girl that's constantly trying to beg a star off somebody, because it's kind of poor form. Other people need to be given an opportunity.
See, here's the problem, though, Kirk. It's like either you're somebody that asks for stars or you're not. And the people that aren't asking it, very rarely do people ask, like, every once in a while. It's usually one extreme or the other. Either they never ask, even when they need it, or they ask all the time. I would argue that it's a given that if somebody shows up to the Armada, they want a star. It's just automatic. If somebody's showing up, they want in. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, unless you're, like I said, a much higher level player, you need that loot. So let's just assume everybody wants a star. So when you're running an Armada, if you're the person running it, either you, if you don't say anything in AC, right? It's the middle of the day. You don't say anything at all. It's just assumed that power plays. It's a gun show, right? Power plays. And then, when you do have the time and you are actually playing the game and not just, when you're at work, you're starting an Armada here and there, then in those situations, go into AC and tell people, hey, I'm looking to start a bunch of people, everybody show up. I'll get as many people in as I can, whatever. Just tell people, or come up with some kind of code that, tells people what to expect. That way they don't waste their time showing up to Armada that they have no hope of getting into. Right?
Wow. Listening.
What do you think, Fox?
Yeah, I think that's all you can do. I agree. People probably want the star, but they don't ask, because it is usually the same 5 people or so that do actually ask for stars, which is fine because that's what we tell them to do. But yeah, you do try. I do try anyway. If I run one and there's one person left out, the next one I run, I try to star that guy that got left out if he's there again. But it doesn't always work out either. So
not always,
and it's hard. It's really hard when you run, an uncommon and you have 7 slots and only
nobody
5
shows
people
up.
show up. Yep. And then you run a rare right afterwards and 12 people show up. And it's like, well, what to do, So.
Well, that's the thing. If you really want to find out who's online, you need to run a rare and epic. And I'm telling you, you're going to find out everybody that's online, because the whole squad's showing up, plus some people from other alliances and servers.
Here's the thing. If you want us higher level players to take you seriously and to want to star you in without you asking, then show up to the uncommons when we run them. I mean, that's really going to show us who's down to party. Show up to the uncommons, and now sometimes I'll run uncommons just to see who's really wanting to show up.
Yep.
And then I'll run some rares and epics. But I start with uncommons because,
The problem also is who actually is active during the Armada. Because, and let me qualify this. If somebody starts an Armada, there's a timer. And are Deep Space Armadas 15 minutes also, or are they 7 minutes?
They all are, yeah. They're all...
Okay. All right, so nobody is going to be active for those 15 minutes. As far as I remember, most people aren't active during those 15 minutes. And so at some points, there's an activity factor that nobody's talking about, how if you're a lower level player that's trying to get into an Armada, a bigger one, and you're doing all the right things, you're showing up to the Armadas and you're PMing for stars, there is going to be a significant amount of percentage time that you're just going to be ignored because people just go offline. They just start it and forget it. And then no matter how much you want to try and be active about it and proactive, showing up to the uncommons and the rares, you're just going to get flat out ignored. Because I know that's happened to me too many times I can count. I ask for a star, and then people are like, oh, sorry, dude, I got a phone call, or sorry, dude, I put my phone down, or all these things. So there's an aspect of, unfortunately, activity that the person starting the Armada and the people going to the Armadas have to have in order to solve this, quote, Armada puzzle. And first of all, it's a waste of fucking time to be active for 15 minutes just to stare at the screen for nothing. But if that is truly a problem that people are facing, then that has to be only solved with activity.
Speaking of Armadas, side note, Handy and anybody else in Nona, I just started a 44 in Klingon space, just in case you're interested. Sorry, please continue.
Thanks for sharing.
I mean, it's a rare, so I'm sure everybody's going to show up.
Probably.
And their mother.
Yeah, somebody else from another server, too. See Revdeuce show up to our Armada.
Mom's got to get down, too. So, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, truly. But I do think that people need to try to pay more attention when they're able to. And just, just people also need to understand that, hey, a lot of times people are not paying attention. So try not to get frustrated and whatnot. Just, this isn't uncommon.
No, everybody has.
Oh, that's Gropers. What did you start? Oh, here's
Go ahead, Fox.
No, I just said everybody kind of has that same problem. All alliances do. I think exactly what Handy said, and then also just if you are getting frustrated, just talk to one of the guys that does run a lot of armadas. And like in our case, I know I would try to get people in if they talk to me. So not sure I can do it, but I do watch quite a bit when I am running it. But I also, when we're running these deep space ones, if we start getting up, 44 rare plus, it is nice to have 3, 4, 50s in there so that you don't have a 250 million trip repair bill when you're done with the Armada, because then it doesn't make sense to do them anymore. So there's some of that too,
250 million trite. That seems.
It's an exorbitant
heavy.
amount of tritanium, isn't it?
Yeah, for a couple of credits or whatever we get from the things, but if you have the right ships, it doesn't cost you that much. But if you star in a bunch of the wrong ships with the wrong crews, it can end up costing you a lot. So,
Well, see, that's another big thing is crews. Like, people gotta bring the right crews, otherwise, and I just think people need to communicate more, especially when they're trying to get into an armada that's above their weight class. Like, bring a crew that's going to help the armada, and you'll definitely get in,
If you show up to an armada with a Pike, Moreau, Chin crew, you need to throw your whole phone away.
Oh, I've done it. I've totally done
Because
that
you're an
before.
asshole.
I didn't do it on purpose. Obviously.
I is this a new feature? But you can click on your alliance mates and check out their crews.
Yeah, it is a
you
new
can
feature.
You can scan them now.
About freaking time too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Apparently you could do. Hamster says you could do it with bases as well.
Yeah, that's really nice for rating, so you can see if it's really worth blowing up your ships for protecting somebody that's only got like 10 mil left or something,
The only reason I even found it is because the other dude in my alliance, I scanned, for some reason I clicked on his ship and I'm like, man, I wonder if I could see what his crew was. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I can actually do that. How odd. But yeah, that was fun. That opened up a conversation about what crew you should bring to the next armada that we're going to run.
I mean, I think a good crew is I think a good crew is running Hull Breach and burning. Like if you want to be a sacrificial lamb and just apply those effects to the armada so that your teammates can win easier and they don't take as big of repair bills, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, that, and people also need to. I'm seeing so many people. What did you say?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing a lot of people that, and I guess I'll go ahead and address those people. Folks, Kirk and Spock are not the end-all, be-all crew in an armada. I'm gonna wheel it up and say it again. Kirk and Spock are not the end-all, be-all crew on armadas. I see so many people doing various armadas, and everything they do is Kirk Spock, no matter what ship it's on. Some of these people are putting Kirk Spock on a freaking Enterprise. Like, do some, at least minimal crew research, and I promise you will do so much better. I've seen people show up to armadas with mining officers and just this grab bag of crews. The numbers below the officers are not the most important thing. It's matching the abilities to the ship and the situation. Quit, getting so fixated on numbers. This is the reason why you'll have people with a 4.5 million enterprise beating a 7 or 8 million jellyfish. Things like that. The numbers aren't really all where the end all be all. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
Well, you gotta talk to your people, talk to your alliance, read those Discord channels where people have posted crews for Armadas. I mean, there's information there. I'm sure almost every alliance has posted some sort of channel, or maybe in their general or whatever, where they have talked about the crews to use, or when they find a new crew, they post a screenshot and say, oh man, look how good this worked. I mean, the information's there.
Did I ever tell you what one guy brought to an Armada? A crew, which I've never seen this before, and I can't imagine that this was very useful, but it was Pike, Moreau, and Uhura. And I'm just like, what is that? I guess if you really, really want to improve the accuracy, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Hey, shout out to Admiral Jansen down there. I see you down there lurking.
You want to come up, Jansen? You want to say a couple things?
Jansen, do you even play this game anymore?
Jansen, welcome to stage, buddy. Do you still play the game? I know he plays a lot of Star Trek Online, but not so much Fleet Command. I mean, he did try it out last I heard with the new Scopely PC version. Which, by the way,
the PC version, do you have to use an emulator or what?
No,
you
it's so. What you have to do is you have to sign up for ScopelyID and do that. Yeah, and do that while you're shielded, because if anybody knows what happened with Die, that one dude from Die tried to do it, and all of a sudden he's getting raided by Dark. And then once you get your ScopelyID, then you can sign into the game. That's your emulator. That is its own emulator.
So
supposedly,
I imagine.
So there's a PC version of the game now, basically.
Correct. Yes.
Can you see more of the star systems than you can on a phone?
Only if you are modified. Like when DJz did his podcast / simul stream, they modded the thing where you can actually make the icons a lot smaller and you could see the map in its entirety. But as it is, if you downloaded like what Scopely asked to download, then no, you cannot. It looks like the mobile game just on a bigger screen.
It looks like you're playing on a giant.
Which I've done before. I've run the game on an emulator before, and I was like, "This sucks. I can see less of the screen than I can on my iPhone."
It sounds like it would. I mean, I don't know about the PC, playing it on your computer or whatever, but it sounds like it would be having a ScopelyID would be a good way for, a lot of folks are having issues when they're having to, download it on a new device or whatever, where they're getting locked out of their account. Sounds like that would be hypothetically a good way to try to mitigate a lot of those issues.
That's actually one of the big points about it, because it would save Scopely support tons of work, because apparently they get inundated with that stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
but then you're gonna have to. I'm sure it's gonna be. I'm surprised it's not like a prime ScopelyID pack or something. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is that you can also use this ScopelyID for all the Scopely games, not just STFC.
Does anybody play any other Scopely games? I can't imagine why we would, but
Don't they do Scrabble or something?
Tech plays Scrabble. He's always talking about the Z's.
I don't play Scrabble. That's just one of those.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. But
Saying
But they have a
buy
fucking
Z
game.
for low price. So yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them. Let me just say. Although I will say that the ScopelyID will make it harder to sell accounts in the future.
I think it
that's
would
a
make
big
it
thing.
easier. What are you talking about?
I think it would make it easier too, actually.
Why? But
You don't have to attach your Google Apple ID to it. You can.
Yeah, I mean, you can just
ScopelyID.
attach it to whatever email address and password, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, they just made it a lot easier for people to sell accounts, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
that's it.
if anybody buys an account out there, don't ever tell anybody, because I can tell you right now that nobody's going to respect you.
Shout out to Orion Star.
Burn.
Man, that wasn't even that wasn't just a shots fired. That was both barrels.
Yeah.
That was golly. Oh,
You're getting this.
I'm sorry. Apparently.
No, but for real though, I mean, the reason people have mutual respect in this game at all is because, hey, we all fought for where we got to.
So, shout out to Orion Star. Why don't you come on the show and tell us the experience of buying an account? And
I'd be interested to hear that. I would be very interested to hear that, honestly.
I would be interested in hearing how long it took them to figure out how to cruise ships and, you know, what everything was.
That's an ongoing process. That's
He's still figuring that out. Oh, sorry, buddy.
I see Lethal Weapon is chiming in. That would be funny. Why don't you come on the show with Lethal at the same time?
Oh, he's laughing.
Oh no, my Meridian got hit.
Let's see. I'm just looking down here at the.
I should start a war. I should do a one-man alliance war because my Meridian got hit. What do you think, Handy?
Yeah, definitely. It's a valid reason to go to war, you know.
Who hit you?
I don't know. Some of those weird alliances that I don't even know existed. Let me check. Not bold, no. If it was bold, I'd just go into their territory and pick up some OPL. Fire? The fuck is a fire?
Oh, fire used to be tank.
Oh.
They changed their name?
Yeah, tank merged with Maru, and then Maru changed to Koba, and tank changed to fire, and Koba became the territory alliance, and tank became...
How do you remember all this shit?
He was probably in the middle of it.
I guess.
I'll take the fifth on that one.
Cook's nosier than you are, Handy.
I guess so. Fuck.
I do like to keep my hands into a lot of different things.
Just can't
Fire have a territory?
Fire does not have a territory, but you can hit Koba since they have sister alliances. Fire is basically a leader alliance for Koba.
Excellent. Where's Koba's territory at? I gotta go and smack some ships.
The lower right, I think.
No, they're upper left.
Oh,
complete opposite side.
Well, it was 25% chance of you getting it right.
Like, it was always the middle, but you're in the middle.
There's three of them. All right, I gotta finish up these 2 armadas that I'm running.
You have one-man alliance. How are you running 2 armadas?
There's 2 people in his alliance.
There's 2 people in my alliance.
Oh, you recruited. Nice.
Yeah.
This show is terrible.
Absolutely. I don't know why DJ promoted it. It's so bad. We need more dumb
This episode is just like it's like everybody showed up to work hungover and nobody really wants to do anything, but we're forced to.
Mm-hmm.
We're not forced to.
Oh,
Jansen, tell us more things that are funny.
Yes, Jansen, please entertain us.
I don't know anything.
Can you do a song and dance?
Definitely not.
Okay. Well, It's worth a try.
We tried.
we tried to reignite the dumpster fire, but
No,
it's
but
gone out, guys.
to talk a little bit more about that ScopelyID, I think it's also part for cross progression for their other platforms they're planning to do, because that has been the biggest issue with mobile games going onto platforms is the individual market stores such as Xbox and PlayStation. They don't want cross progression because they want people to start using their stores where they get that 30% cut, which is also what I think one reason Scopely has not put this onto Steam is because they're trying to get away from that cut of that store. And the rumor is they did a deal with PlayStation, Sony to do the processing of the payments through their PC game as the way it is right now for a 5% cut.
Greedy bastards.
How big does your yacht have to be, motherfucker?
So this is just a ploy to get more money.
I honestly think
I guess that's not too surprising. If they get everybody to stop using Apple or Google or whatever, that makes them more money, I guess, right?
Well, what I would like to see is if they get people to stop using Apple and Google, and they're using the emulator. If on the emulator they charged less for the pack, since they're not having to give that money to Apple and Google, that would get a lot of migration over there. Because if they're taking 30%, so that's $30 out of a $70 pack. You charge $70 for what would be a $100 pack on the phone apps. Everyone's going to be using that emulator.
Man, ain't nobody reducing shit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're not gonna.
They ain't, no, man. They're gonna increase profit margin. That's the name of the game.
Hey, a man can hope, can't he?
No.
You can wish in one hand. Look, here's the deal. You can wish in one hand and shit in the other, and you can tell me which one fills up faster.
I mean, but all you have to do is look at the Timelines game that's on Steam and the Epic Game Store and realize that they're going to get thrown overboard by all PC players because they're not going to deal with anything this game has to do. Like the spending wise, PC gamers are not going to have it.
Yeah, no.
No, those of us who are spending a bunch of money in this game have mental health issues. We've already established that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I say that both jokingly and also seriously. There's an issue. Now, I'm not saying we're all super psycho crazy, right? But there's an issue. We spent money on some pixels. I mean, we know that. A lot of it has to do with COVID, and because we spent so much time in the game. You know, if you play the game like a lot of us did during COVID, where you're pretty much on 24/7, you run out of shit to do in a day. So what's the next thing to do? Well, if I could just upgrade this, then I could have new stuff to do. So that's a lot of what drove us too. You know, but even still, the fact that we spend as much money as we have, I'm pretty sure there's someone far smarter and far wiser than I that probably would be able to tell us the name of the mental disorder that we all have or we all share in some way.
Here's a question: Can I solo kill a level 33 epic Armada with a 2.5 mil Enterprise?
I don't know. Let's try it and let's know.
Might take 2 times actually, so we'll see. We'll find out in 15 minutes.
You can use one of the Exocomps that boosts Armada damage by 400%.
Oh yeah, that'll get it done.
I don't have that. I don't think.
That 5% boost in damage you're gonna get from that's totally gonna do it for you.
Oh my god, yeah.
I will say that I recently got an opportunity. I think Epi was talking about it a while back with the Exocomp. Epi or somebody was talking about the 500% increase in ship experience. Man,
I love that.
I was able to go in 1 hour. I was able to take a ship from like level 30 to 45, so I could scrap it. I mean, I was getting 15, 20,000. Say what?
It was your Stella?
I think it was a Mayflower.
Oh, nice, because everyone's been using it for the Stella. It's been driving Handy nuts because he wants to know what a real ship is like.
Yeah.
No,
Because the Stella you already get more for.
So what you do is you use that, and then what I did was I found some comparable levels. I wasn't trying to hit too high out of my weight class, and I was putting Pike, Moreau, and then whatever the officer that boosts the experience for explorers, and plus the 500%, and I was getting a lot of experience. It was pretty ridiculous. So that definitely, for anybody who's free to play or somewhat free to play like I am, balling on a budget, so to speak, that's really good for leveling up ships. Especially when you start talking about like the Jellyfish and these other ships where it takes, 1.5 million experience to level up and stuff like that.
What level does your Exocomp factory need to be at to get those?
Actually, that you get from an event.
Yeah, that one was an event.
Yeah, the experience.
If you were in an alliance, maybe you would have gotten it.
There you go. What a burn! What a burn!
Oh,
Handy's so cute with his burns.
I can tell you though that I got my Exocomp factory up to level 25 today, thanks to yesterday's event, and that's when you can get the grade 3 Exocomp stuff, and I thought I got an XP one.
At 25?
Yeah, but it wasn't the 4-star. I'm looking right now.
Has anybody tried out these combination ones yet? I haven't tried it yet. I mean, I have it, I just haven't tried it.
I did a warp speed with a combat boost yesterday when I was trying to run to those deep space Armadas so that I could, get there faster and do more damage. But I was just running the 2-star one, so it wasn't much of a difference. Like, it literally shaved maybe a minute off my warp time.
A minute?
That's
not bad, I guess.
Yeah, a minute off of like an 8-minute warp time. Went to 7.
That's not bad.
What's the fucking point of even running it?
To get the day done.
You're gonna get there either way.
God damn it! I just saw this from Lethal Weapon when I started that rare earlier. Lethal said he sent his Prius to the 44 rare.
Oh, thank God he sent that. We're guaranteed to win now.
Golly, man.
Where's Lethal at? He keeps shifting alliances like every day. I don't know. I can't keep track of it.
The fact that Lethal drives a Prius just completely ruined his image for me. Just saying.
That thing probably gets great dilithium mileage.
Yeah. It's very hard for me to respect you now, Lethal. Hey, I just gave you a hand so you can hop on up here if you want.
Handy gave you a hand.
I gave you a hand.
Yeah. Handy's giving out hands.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, now.
Anybody else want one?
Can you say petroleum jelly?
God.
Or the actual word for it, petrolatum.
That sounds.
Don't get all sciencey.
Did you say petrolatum?
Yeah.
That sounds like a scientific term for a part of the penis.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Anybody else want to come up? Chemo, I just gave you a hand too, buddy. How did it feel? You want to come up? Let's give RescueRanger.
Actually, so
Rescue's got a hand now too.
There's a bunch of
the other term.
I'm not inviting any of those randos up here. They're
There's The other term
Way
for
to
petroleum
alienate the
jelly is
audience.
also called soft paraffin. If you want to use that, that's any better.
What's up, Ranger? How you
Uh,
doing?
Thin Bopper is really like anxious to come up here.
No. None of those people are coming up. They're not even people or computers or whatever.
Wow.
You're gonna bring them up on stage, and they're gonna be like, "We've been trying to reach you about your extended warranty."
Yeah.
Just
get-
alienating your audience.
I get
These are
5 of those
people that
calls.
we've never seen before. They don't even know what game we're playing. Anybody that wants to come up on the stage, if you can tell me what server we play on and what game in a PM, I'll bring you up. Anyway.
Server 34.
Hey, don't give them the answers. At any rate. So how are things going, Rescue Ranger?
You lost her.
I
Can
think
you guys
so.
hear me? You
I
guys
can
hear me?
now. Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to figure it out. No, everything's going good.
Yeah. How's the new ISO agreement for you?
Um, well, my guys still hit 3-star and they usually go to most, and most usually comes and hits our bases.
Yeah.
Yep. I tell my guys, we're gonna do that, make sure everybody shields first.
Well, I was actually talking with some people yesterday about this, and it seems that for the most part, if people go and hunt for an ISO they don't have, if they as long as they don't overdo it, nobody cares. Like, or you have that one player, right, that cares, and then everybody else is like, whatever, I don't care. But
Yeah.
if you see, there's a difference between going into a system and clearing every single OPL you can find and using a ship that's not even getting a quarter of the cargo. So, like, you go hit an OPL Meridian that's sitting on 400K OPL or whatever is showing, and they're using a battleship or something, or they're using a ship that gives them 50K of that. I mean, it's like, come on, you're just wasting it. Not only that, it's like it has the effect of making people feel like they're just getting trolled. It's like, automatically, if somebody did that to me, I'm going to assume they're hitting me just to fuck with me. That is the only reason, because coming in there and poking at me for 50K or 30K or whatever your ship's taken is ridiculous. Not only that, but I've seen people where they'll hit one ship, now their cargo's full, and they'll go hit the ship right next door. It's like, okay, well, now you didn't get any of that cargo, and it just went into deep space and never to be seen again. And now that player just got 2 ships blown up. The player attacking got 50K of it, and now he's got a repair bill. So he's pissed, rightfully so. Players got to understand that if you're going to go hit OPL, make sure you take it all, first off. And secondly, don't hit a ship when your cargo's full. Freaking pay attention. Like, if you're that lazy of a player that you can't tell when your cargo's full, or you don't know how much your ship can hold, I mean, come on. Like, of course people are
All right, but before you finish your thought, Foxy's got to run, so I want to thank Fox for being here. Come on, you're more than welcome to come on again.
Yeah, welcome anytime, Fox. Take care, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Cool. See you
Always a
later.
pleasure. Have a good one, buddy.
To your point, Handy, if you have a full cargo and you kill someone, that person you killed is going to keep 100% of that cargo. It's not going into deep space or whatever.
Oh, whatever.
Right.
But the point is,
No.
like, I think it's more about the fact that people are having to repair that. I mean, because a maxed out Meridian's not cheap to repair.
No.
And I think that's the main reason people get pissed. Not only that, you just waste some people's time. So now they're pissed, and now they feel like they have to deal with it, right? So now they're gonna have to send a PM or have a conversation or go whine to the Admiral, and that's just a fucking pain in the ass. Nobody wants to do that. So, you know, I mean, and that's where it comes down to educating players. Like, we need to educate people so that they don't do crap like that. And I don't think most would be having any problems, Ranger. I really don't. If people just paid a little bit of attention.
Well, my guys are not going in with battleships. They're using that Borg ship, and
the Vidar.
And some of them will take their miners, because if their miners are bigger, they'll take their miners and hit them.
Right, and I believe that hopefully most of your people do that. However, Dragon Silver's told me that you've got players that didn't do that. They used the Saladin.
Oh, well, I'll tell them not to do that then. I don't know what ship they were using. All I know is next thing I know, they're hitting our bases. So I was like, well, you know, shield.
And see, here's where the communication stuff comes in, and that's what I was saying in the Discord channel. I'm like, dude, people just need to talk to each other. You know what I mean?
And if they can do it, try and get Ston on that Vidar too.
Like, Dragon Silver has a tendency to be a little overprotective of her flock, and then, you know, may not always have a good conversation first before, you know, telling her people, I'll just go hit their bases. You know what I mean? It's up to everybody to act like adults and just talk it out. I mean, if a particular player does something like I just described, they should let you know so that you can have a conversation with them, right?
Right, because that's something I did not know.
Well, I believe it's on the ISO channel. You can read it there.
Okay. They didn't say anything about what ship to use. I didn't see anything about that.
Maybe it was a private message to me.
Maybe, because
I'd
I
have
don't
to go
remember.
check. I have to go find where I read that. But
that wasn't part of the agreement, but it was you hear they get open shell.
But it's one of those things. It's like, if somebody goes and hits with a Saladin and blows up 2 Meridians and only got a little bit of the loot from one of them, it's like, that person's just trolling.
Yeah.
Maybe they're ignorant and they just don't know better. I have no idea. Or maybe it's some retaliation for some perceived attack, quote unquote. I just don't know. But the fact is the heart of the agreement is, look, we're happy to share the loot with you. But if you're just going to blatantly leave a bunch of loot on the table just to go blow ships up, I mean, that's just as good as a dry hit, in my opinion.
Well, maybe, but, you know, some of these guys, they don't have ships that carry that much cargo.
No, I think Handy's talking about the second ship. The first ship, it's the only ship the person has.
Yeah, if you don't have no room, you shouldn't be hitting a second ship.
Exactly.
I will make sure my guys understand that. Yeah. Nobody told me that. So, and I didn't think, because I don't do that. If my ship's full, I go home and offload and go back. But
well, I know Grazi,
maybe some of my guys.
You might want to shoot. Well, Grazi won't answer you because he doesn't answer anybody. But
no, he doesn't.
If you were to talk to Grazi, he would tell you that's what happened. But at any rate,
I get it. The Saladin is the only ship size that person can use that has any cargo ability and the ability to kill one of those high-end Meridians. You know, that's fine. But then,
my argument would be to that person: then don't hit those higher level people.
Yeah.
Go to an appropriate sized alliance with appropriately sized ships, and maybe you find somebody that's only OPL 50K. I mean, just be smart about it, right?
The problem is some of those lower alliances like that we're friends with them.
So, I know, but
you got to choose your battles. Not only that, it's only 3-star. Even if you were able to raid enough to get a full pull, it's only 25% of, at max, it's only 25% of what you are able to refine a day. So let's say they're able to raid enough to get 10%. I mean, that's only 10%. I mean, it's just, is it really worth the grief? Is it really worth pissing a bunch of people off just so you can get a little bit more, a negligible amount? I mean, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm very happy to go mine some ISO 3 for any of your members if you want. Just takes me 45 minutes and I can have a full load for them.
I will see. I've told them that we'll see, or I think I have.
Well,
And
see, oh, sorry, go
this
ahead.
my last week has been a really screwed up week. But yeah, my niece sprained her
What?
ankle, and I've had a full week. Holy crap. Um,
Well, that makes
but
it
I think I called.
very difficult on leadership. People get busy and they're not able to address these things. Like
No, and
I was
this
talking
week
to
has
Red
been
Eye.
bad.
I was talking to Red Eye last night real briefly, and he's working a 15-hour day. And he's
Yeah,
just like, yeah, I know there's shit going on, but I don't have any time to deal with it.
yeah. This
And I'm like,
usually
oh, sorry, ma'am. Let me know if I can help.
usually I can, but this week has been really, really busy because we have a big fire in our area now, and it's become the priority one fire in California now because of there's 3,000 homes, 5,000 homes, and
The
it's
Dixon
passed.
fire,
No, this is the French fire.
another one. Yeah,
The Dixon is no longer priority because it's already burned the homes it's going to burn, I think. I think now it's going away from the homes. But
yeah.
this one, we were actually evacuating people with the houses burning next to us, and the trees were burning next to us. And
Jesus.
we were basically putting the old people in their cars and telling them, the hell
Get
out
out
of
of
here,
here.
leave
Yeah.
everything, you know. And yeah, it wiped out a whole, I think, I don't know how many homes, but the ones we were in, they were burning. And so we've been evacuating people left and right. So I go to work for 8 hours, and then I go do that for 5 hours after work. So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it looks like the winds have died down. So hopefully, you know, they'll get it. But anyways,
yeah,
um,
yesterday was very, very windy in California.
yes, and
The fires
oh,
just went crazy.
they did, and this one went. We were back and forth. Okay, who are we evacuating? What area? Where do you need us at? Made for a very interesting day.
Yeah,
Uh, but anyways, yeah, this week has been tough, but nobody said anything about the ships. And I can understand that because why would you hit another ship if you can't even pick up the cargo?
for sure.
Uh, so I will address that with my
Well, and then
captain.
there's also the over farming. It's kind of like what's an analogy I can use? It's like you don't go clear cut a forest. You go out and you take a few trees so the forest stays healthy. You know what I mean? So for
Yeah,
people looking to go take OPL, don't just go clearing systems or going back to the same system or the same alliance. Spread it out a bit. And if that means you need to drop some of your friendlies that aren't really doing anything for you, then drop some of your friendlies so you can increase the size of the pool of people you can go hit. I don't know. Just thoughts. But
yeah,
but yeah, I mean there's ways to go about it. I mean, you just don't want any of your guys making their presence known too much by any one alliance because then that's going to affect the response, right? Like
correct.
people
And
are going to do something about it, you know.
yeah.
And that's when you get people dry hitting or going and hitting a bunch of bases and blah blah blah. And I mean
No,
on
they
the
never dry hit us. It was just they came in and hit unshielded bases.
well, I know that's happened to other alliances though.
Oh, okay. Well, we haven't been, as far as I know, they didn't say anything about being dry hit.
Well, that's good. But on the flip side of that, I mean, if one of your guys goes and hits just one person and that person comes and now they're living in your TC, hitting a bunch of ships and freaking out over one freaking glass of spilt milk, that's a problem too.
Yeah,
And that player should report that person to their respective admiral. So it goes both ways, for the agreement, to kind of to work and everybody to get along. You got to just balance things out. Just sensible play.
yeah.
And it's easy to do as long as people have good intentions.
Yeah, and most people do. I mean, in a
I
way.
think so. I mean, but some people, their blood gets up and they, act like fools. I mean, we're all capable of it.
Well, they get a little competitive, I think.
Yeah, I get it.
It happens.
That it does.
It does.
But I wish you luck. I hope it works out for you guys. And if you ever need any help with anything, let me know.
I will.
And keep rescuing those people.
Yep. We will. But hopefully we don't have to anymore. Hopefully they get it, because it's not a very big fire. It's just they got homes in the way.
Yeah.
It's actually very small compared to what everybody else has in California, but it's got communities in the way. So
Fire is a fire.
yep.
They're all capable of getting out of control, especially when the whole freaking state's dry as I don't know what.
Well,
Shout out to UltimateDJz down there in the audience.
No, he came back.
Oh yeah, he did
Where's
show
he
up
at?
again.
There's DJs. What's up, buddy? Hey, I got a bone to pick with you. No, I'm kidding.
Fight me.
Fight! Let's fight!
Handy, did you come over here?
Half of my bones aren't working right now, so you can have like one of the bad ones if you want.
The what? You're working?
I just hear wind.
Are you? Have you been carried off by the hurricane? Are you near Cook?
Yeah, seriously.
DJs, buddy.
Hang on. I'm sorry. I'll fix it. Hang on.
Oh, that's right. A hurricane is bearing down on the East Coast, huh?
Actually, it went down to a tropical storm after I closed the restaurant for the day. And
Oh, really?
it didn't even make landfall. And so I'm only dealing with 25-mile-per-hour winds. And I'm like, great, I closed for a centimeter of snow.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Snow.
It's a joke because out here, the weatherman will forecast 6 feet of snow. And so everything shuts down. And then you only get like a centimeter of snow. And everyone's like, what the hell just happened? And then they'll say, oh, we're just getting in this light little dusting. Everything stays open. And then we get hit with like 2 feet of snow. And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the only job you get to keep and be wrong all the time.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I live in Tampa, so 25-mile-an-hour winds is like barbecue breeze.
Yeah.
It's like barbecue breeze for me. I'm like, oh, I could have opened it. That's nothing.
So all important update here. A 2.5 mil Enterprise can barely scratch a 33 Epic.
Saw it coming.
Yeah, I kind of did too. Wait, where was the Epic?
It's in Klingon space.
Okay, at least you have the...
He ain't telling you, motherfucker.
Well, no, I was going to say if you hit the Epic in like Romulan space, then yeah, it would have been like hitting a battleship. You would have totally gotten your ass kicked. Klingon space, it's good because then you have the advantage using the Explorer because it's got the interceptor bonuses.
Try the Exocomp.
You and your Exocomps.
God,
I like them.
So DJs, I gave you a nice shout out because you gave me a nice shout out, and here you are. And then Handy is gonna try and verbally abuse you because you were ragging on Nona the whole time.
Yeah,
it's funny because even on my own server, like people hone in. It's like newspaper headlines. People hone in on like one sentence or two sentences and forget the broader conversation. I actually was really clear, like on the surface, like when you first hear this story, when I first listened to the podcast.
You cut out there.
did you change your orientation?
No. I went on push to talk because I'm sitting on the porch and I got a breeze. That's why you have the wind noise. So I'm sitting on the porch right now watching, nature, and it's lovely. But no, what I'd mentioned was it's like headlines. People hone in on like one or two sentences or one comment and forget the broader point of the conversation. what I had mentioned to Handy was
You cut out again.
on the surface when I first heard about the conflict with Nona. The gut reaction is, okay, they're whining about OPCL, but there's a deeper mechanic involved here, and that mechanic is just simply player's choice, play your way, and I think the bigger problem with what Nona has done on their server is not that they've decided that they're going to change their way and that they've decided that they're going to deter players from hitting their cargo. I think the bigger issue is just that it's like a shock and awe thing. Like it's contrary to how their server is traditionally used to playing. But at the same time, I've always been a huge believer in not imposing playstyle on any player. So if Nona has decided that this is what they're doing, at least they gave the courtesy of saying to their server, hey, this is what we're going to do. And if you engage us, then we will engage you. Because at the end of the day, it's their right to play however they want, So it's interesting to see them make that decision. At the same time, they are super 100% within their rights to make that decision. And the server also has a choice. The server can't say, well, you're telling me how I can play. No, they're not. They're telling you how they're going to play, and now you have a choice as to how you're going to engage Nona. So I think it's super fascinating. Me personally, I don't know that I would be personally on board with a decision to go to war over cargo hits. However, Nona and their leadership have made a decision, and they are within their rights to play however they want to play. So if they're offering to their server, basically saying, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do, and here's our updated ROE. Now you guys have a choice as to how you're going to engage us.
I have another question.
Pretty much it in a nutshell.
Are you using a vocoder, or are you just not using your radio voice? Because you sound different.
Yeah, almost like you've been sucking helium.
Well, no, it's because he's on a phone instead of a nice microphone.
Yeah. I'm just...
Push that button a little bit harder.
This button. It's either the wind or the button. My God, this button.
I was just thinking it was like you have this perfectly tuned radio voice that you bust out, and then when you're not on the radio, you're like, oh yeah, hey, it's me guys, how's it going?
Yeah, everybody come on to Trek Talk with Tech and Kirk. Where we'll
I was going to say, you walk into any radio studio, and there's like $10,000 worth of equipment that is designed to make me sound good. This is what I sound like normally. Yeah.
Oh, I can hear the difference, but
you mean it's not perfect baritone that everybody has that goes on the radio. It's not like hello and welcome to the program. They're like,
Did you just become Sulu?
If you have ever seen like a video of like a voice actor or like the movie trailer guy, shameless plug for a second. If you go into Cameo, there is a guy on there. His name is Movie Trailer Guy. And if you look at him, he is this tiny little nerdy looking pimple faced white kid, but he's talking like, in a world where Nona hunts over cargo miners. Oh,
that reminds me of Don LaFontaine, who he actually told a story of how he got his voice, and it just apparently he was sitting in class and it broke right then and there, and the teacher thought he was making fun of her, and he was sent to the principal's office for the fact that his voice broke, and he got this this beautiful voiceover actor kind of voice that just broke out in the middle.
Can you imagine just sitting there and be like, do you know the answer to this? Yeah, that's right. Abraham Lincoln.
Anyway.
Yeah, I actually do have a question, though.
No, you don't.
All of this conversation's been about OPL hunting. What about
No.
OPL mats in territory.
No.
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 You still hunt them
No.
for that?
No.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want with that. Nobody cares.
Yeah, until we show up and kick down your door because somebody whined about it.
Well, no, I just find it funny that ever since this agreement came in, I haven't been hit OPL for anything at all in TC.
I think people are just erring on the side of caution in its infancy of the agreement. I mean, I think things will get back to normal. People
I think what
people
it
are
is
still
that
being a little careful, I guess.
no, Nona's just bullied everybody, and everyone has PTSD for OPL hunting.
No, come on. We haven't bullied anybody.
I'm kind of leaning towards that.
9 times out of 10, whenever we have a conflict, I have reached out and tried to talk it out first. Both with MBD and Bold, I talked to them before we went to war.
And then you kicked their ass.
No, I don't think it was we kicked their ass. I think it was they put up one hell of a fight, both teams. And even with the power disparity, they put up one hell of a fight.
That's not what you told me the other day when we were in private chat.
No, that's not true. You inflammatory liar.
You were telling me about how they were all pansies and running away, and they had no appetite for a fight. And
yeah,
you are such a liar. Stop trying to start crap.
I was with that. You were saying that
You
to both
dumpster fire living sons of bitches.
Man, this server's getting boring. What else am I gonna do but start shit?
Yeah.
Actually, I got another dumpster fire here. Hey, DJs, how is it that you mentioned our podcast about dumpster fires, and then everybody's like, "Oh yeah, this is so cool," and then I'm like, "Hey, server 15, why don't you come on up?" And everybody's like, "Not me. No, I don't want to talk."
Actually, so it's just been a matter of time because I haven't had enough time to really coordinate everybody. I've reached out to several players, and I think that's progressing. I think that players are willing to come and talk to you about it, and it was just a matter of time. I don't think that we had enough time to kind of coordinate everybody on the same schedule. So, yeah, no, I think I've chatted to several key players involved, and I think that you'll be able to coordinate that here pretty soon.
All right, because I was just giving server 15 shit. I was like, you guys don't want to come on the show, talk a big game, but when it comes down to it, nobody wants to show up.
There's actually several 15 in your audience right now. I see Foe down there. I see Witch down there, and these are power players. These are key leaders within server 15 even right now. I mean, if you wanted to invite them up, if they had anything to say, but like Wicked Witch has been an admiral for she is one. We were talking about this last night, Tech. Wicked Witch is the admiral of one of only 2, at least that I can recall, 2 original day 1 alliances. There's only 2 left, and she has been the admiral pretty much since day 1 of this team. So almost 3 years now that she has, led a Power 5 team on our server, and they typically,
that's saying something. Most people don't last that long.
Oh yeah, I mean she's been an absolute consummate professional, and her team is consistently strong, consistently well performing, and I didn't originally mention her as one of the alliances in this conflict because they have, for the most part, not fully engaged in a lot of conflict, but there has been conflict with RVNC. They have been involved in things, and they have fought wars, and as a day 1 alliance, they absolutely deserve the recognition of being that. I mean, as many tag shuffles and alliance breakdowns and new alliance formations and all this that has happened, there's only 2 tags on server 15 that are original day 1 alliances, and not only is this an original tag, she's the original leader, which is just absolutely wildly impressive.
Well, shout out to Wicked Witch, and thanks for listening. I've seen you here before, but you know what? It's funny because don't we have a Wicked Witch in our server, Handy? I thought there was a Wicked
Witch. We have a War Witch, And we have a war wizard, which is in the audience.
Okay. All right. War witch. All right. I thought
There's
there
a
were.
war witch, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I believe he went to Dark. He was in Nona for. Or wait, no, where was he? I don't know, man. I get people confused. I'm stupid.
Well,
What do you want?
again, shout out to the Wicked Witch for all the recognition that DJ just said. Original tag, original leader, to be constantly in game and the leader for 3 years. That shows commitment.
Absolutely. I mean, most leaders get tired of it by then. You know.
Yeah, I know. I tried to hand over the reins of Dead to Frank twice this week, and he got mad at me.
Nobody wants it.
It's Frank, dude.
Well, I said to him, Jeep would be so happy that you're the Admiral.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God. Oh, that would be. I'm crying. I'm crying right now. That's great.
He made me a threat today. Said if I ever made him Admiral again, he's giving the keys over to Emily. And I said, okay, fine.
I think Emily would be a great Admiral for Dead and for Dark SpongeBob No Pants.
So, on to side note. Red Eye, how's it going, buddy? Did you get some sleep?
Hey, Red Eye.
Hey, kinda, I guess.
How was that 5,000-hour day work day yesterday?
I'm gonna do it again today.
Yeah, I figured as much. So what's going on, buddy?
Life of a business owner sucks.
Well,
Have
I'll
you
tell
been
you
able to
this:
catch up
on Bejor, there are 26-hour days. If you don't remember, rewatch Deep Space Nine.
Good to know.
If I could get 28-hour days, that'd be fantastic.
That would be nice. I could use
Does
an
that
extra
mean you
4 hours
earn
in a day.
more per hour, or what does that do?
More sleep, I would assume.
More hours in the day, man. You get more done.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true.
I would just have an extra 4 hours to be lazy. That's just me, though.
Remember, Dr. Soren said time is the ultimate enemy.
So what's going on with Die? I've heard whispering on the breeze there that there were some issues.
In what fashion? I guess we've had a pretty eventful week.
Well, I don't know. Tell us about it.
I think Handy's trying to fish for shit that Kirk was fishing.
No.
Handy for.
I legitimately heard some grumblings. It's a thing.
Well, we left territory, so there's that. And I know there's rumors that we did it to OPL hunt, but that wasn't really the reason. It was mostly because we are satisfied with our particles. As mostly free-to-play players, we can't advance as quickly as everyone else, so we got a pretty good stockpile.
So at the moment, you just don't need any more particles, and when you do, you'll probably come back in, right?
Right. We should have enough. I mean, Metreon to carry us into well into the 40s, and it's going to be a long time before we get that far, most of us.
Right. Because I think a lot of people did automatically assume that it was because you guys wanted to ISO hunt.
Yeah, I heard the rumors, but that wasn't the main reason. I guess that's just something that came about as we had already made that decision.
Now, are your players out there hitting a lot of ISO, or no?
I haven't had anyone message me, but it seems that most people don't message anymore.
Yeah, it seems like they just start hitting bases, apparently. Nobody wants to talk anymore.
I haven't had any reports, though, so, I mean, other than a few issues with Dark, which has honestly cooled down quite a bit the last few days, nothing that I really know of, honestly.
All right. Well, that's good. Glad to hear. Yeah, I was very surprised when I heard you guys were leaving the TC zone. Yeah, I mean, you're the first
you'll still
alliance
see us
to really
around, I'm
take
sure.
that leap. You're the first alliance to take that leap, to just leave TC just because, hey, we have enough right now. Let's let other people get in there. Now, who did you hand over your territory to?
We reduced to one zone. We let Dead in to the current ones we were on with the swap agreement. And then we gave Klefaski to IMN. They've been trying to get on the board for a long time, so seemed like a good deal. I mean, it's always good to see new names in there, right?
Sure, of course. I mean, that's the whole idea of the territory swap Discord, is to try and get teams that don't have access to stuff they need on the board, and the people that have plenty of what they need can downsize. You know, I know we've talked about downsizing. It's different for the really power players because there's just so much research that we have to do. I mean, I still use up a lot of my, I still use up 100% of my emulsion almost daily. I mean, as soon as I can refine it, it's gone because of how much research there is and what I have access to at the moment.
And we don't.
Do you speed up all your
We
research?
probably don't like that because we are progressing at a slower pace, right?
Right. I mean, that stands to reason. Yeah. And what was that question?
Do you speed up all your research all the time? Because I know some of the ISO research takes a while, so the fact that you use up your emulsion every day seems like you're speeding up all your research all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm always doing research as much as I can on a regular basis.
I mean, how many researchers on averages do you do per day?
Probably 3 or 4. Sometimes I'll go a few days and don't do any, like if I'm busy. Like I'll just let whatever's on the board count down and I won't speed it up.
DJz, you're 41, right? How many researchers do you do a day?
Depends on the calendar, like what's going on with daily mini events. But like Handy, I do speed up a lot of research. Today I did 4 researches this morning for the research daily mini event. And I'll look forward to the calendar. I don't have a need to speed up anything, for the remainder of today. But if there's, another research event, whether it's the 25,000 one or the 8,500 one, I will 100% of the time complete those. I do have a question for Andy, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Seeing that you are spending all of your ISO and you're doing, a bunch of research every single day, and I know TechMan is going to get a nice, good belly laugh out of this. Do you feel that the Exocomp feature, do you feel that it provides you any benefit since you are speeding up and rolling through, all these researches or whatever? And the reason I ask is because, even TechMan and I listened to your last podcast where you were discussing the Exocomps, and it to me, I've heard that sentiment from a lot of players. It seems, a lot of people say it's kind of meh or it doesn't help, but it is research, so for players who value research, kind of feels to me like, again, this being a game of nickels and dimes. Why do 4 researches in a day? Because each of those researches gets me 1 or 2% better in a certain category. So
it's like adding an exocomp, but it's permanent.
But
I mean, the exocomps just go away so quickly. It's like, see, for me personally, I come in and walk away from the game constantly, right? So that's why I got drawn into a mobile game to begin with, because I can pick it up and set it down whenever I need to. And what happens a lot of times is I get distracted or whatever. I'll start an exocomp, plan to go do some grinding, then something happens. I come back 45 minutes later, the thing's expired, and I'm like, why did I even bother?
And I get that, and for, especially like a lot of the combat ones that are 1 hour. But, for example, let's look at, I activated
Push the button.
Stupid button. Like this morning I activated one for research speed, and listen, obviously they're not super game changing, but if I'm going to jam through 4 or 5 researches, and I did do that within the span of probably 20, 30 minutes, but even that one is an 8-hour research, an 8-hour buff, so you can come back, if you did get distracted or whatever. But if at your level, you jam through 4 or 5 researches, 25% increase, even to base, that's got to save you probably at least, a couple days worth of Latinum, a couple days worth of speed ups overall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely beneficial. I mean, especially if you add it up over time. I think for me personally, it's just a matter of getting used to using it. Sometimes I just forget, because of the other 1,000 things we got to do in this game. Yeah.
We mean at 2,365 things you got to do.
Well, whatever. But
I'm just making a random number.
For me personally, I just need to get used to using them because of some of these buffs. Some of these exocomps were such a letdown that it soured the exocomp taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? So even for this semi-beneficial ones like research speed or ship XP or whatever it is, I may not even use them just because I'm like, in the back of my mind, without even thinking about it, and I'm like, screw exocomps, they're not that great. And so I don't end up using it to speed my research up just because I don't think about it. But I should, because it is helpful, the research speed in particular, and ship XP.
I think
and Darius has a good... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think what you're onto is exactly the sentiment of the community, and I do agree. There's 39 exocomps. Over half of them definitely feel, kind of garbage. On the other hand, what I'm looking for out of exocomps for me may be different from what you're looking for exocomps for you. The variety that was offered, even though they are very, very vanilla and they are very nickel and dime, I think that is the key. If players can get used to the idea of them, and I'm not suggesting buy packs. I'll be honest with you, I don't really find value in those packs either. But the daily refine and popping a couple out here and there, if they do help save a day's worth of Latinum or 2 days worth of speed ups or this or that, I just, I find that if it can save me 300 Latinum, then, that's a free feature, so
yeah, it costs you nothing to use. You might as well use it. Try and get yourself used to using it. Go in there and before you do a bunch of research, check and see what exocomps you have available. Maybe do a refine on the exocomp and hopefully you get yourself one that's going to speed your research up or whatever it may be. But whatever you're doing in the game, we just got to get ourselves used to checking that exocomp button and seeing what we have running, if anything, and see if, we have something available to us that'll help with whatever we're doing that day.
I do have one that's 50 plus 15% research speed.
Yeah, and I mean, it adds up over time. I mean, if you use 100 of those this year and think how much Latinum that might save you. I don't know. It could add up to quite a bit.
I mean, it's like a lot of things in this game. It is very nickel and dime, but like you say, that they are coming out of the daily refine, absolutely free, and there's no need to spend. I know some people have talked about spending servos. I have intentionally not spent on the building. I think it's the level 24 now, I think, is where I'm at, so I'm still getting the 2-star exocomps, and at the level 25, you start getting the 3-stars. So I feel like that, that'll get a little bit better. I know that the grind with the servos is very slow, especially like after level 30, if you're not going to buy servos. But, again, like you say, it's just kind of nickel and dime, and it's getting ourselves into the habit. How many people have to remind themselves to go mine green data? How many people have to remind themselves to go get security keys out of exchange space? It is another checkbox on our daily to-do list, but at the same time, if that checkbox saves you even a handful of resources today, I take you back to like Prime Refinery. A lot of people complained about that in the very beginning. Well, it's not a whole lot. Well, 2 years later, how many more materials do you have because of prime refine? So it's just
Quite a bit.
it's a substantial number. So it's just one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
things you got to kind of get into the habit of using. And what I'm really pleased with is the fact that it is completely free, if you so choose to pursue that route. And I feel that the community at large has maybe overlooked it because the benefits are so nickel and dime. But again, it's a very long-term expansion, and the savings over the long haul are going to be significant. The players who adopt the mentality of making sure they use their exocomps to improve their efficiency day to day, those players are going to gain ground in progression.
So
Absolutely.
I got a question then. Now that,
Really, real quick, just to finish the thought, Tech, just one sec. I mean, really, all these things that they've added this year, I mean, people need to add it to their agenda. They need to make it part of what they do every day. Because everybody, I mean, humans, we're all based on habit, right? Habit forming. So put it into your habit. Get yourself used to using it, and over the long run, you're going to succeed because of it. If you use everything, all the tools at your disposal. Go ahead, Tech.
all right, so Darius mentioned something in chat about saving latinum and speed ups and whatnot. Obviously, speed ups at higher levels take years. But my question is this, and I guess this is a question for higher level people, because at what point can you click on the speed up and it'll ask for latinum for certain speed ups, like 3 days or 1 days? Because is it when you run out of all the speed ups that'll ask for latinum, or?
Yeah, it's when you run out. And you can do it at 1 day. You can do it at 8 hour and 3 hour. But if you use latinum for like 3 hour speed ups, I believe it actually costs more for the same amount of time.
Yeah, even the 8 hours are not. I think the 8 hours, if you do 3 8 hours, they equal 1 day. Like they're equal. Because I think an 8 hour is 100 latinum, a 1 day is 300 latinum, so they equal. But you're right, the 3 hours are 80. So by the time you use more of those, so by the time the research gets longer, and of course, if you've got the speed ups, then of course it's just prolonging your stash. Like your stash can go longer. But yes, when you start doing 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 day researches, speed ups are hard to get. There's a player on my server who talks about going back to the away teams assignments. He's like, dude, I'll do every away team assignment that offers speed ups. Like, those are my focus, because speed ups, we don't have them. Yeah, we don't have them.
Yeah, there's a huge speed up deficit in this game.
Okay, I get. Okay, now I understand, because I've never run out of speed ups, so I was curious because I was trying to speed up something faster, but I didn't want to use up like the 1 minute ones or the 3 minute ones. I wanted to use like actual 8 hour ones, but I can't get to those since I actually still have speed ups available.
Well, you're going to want to use the largest speed up that you can. So if you're going to run out of a speed up, run out of your 1 day speed ups first, because they cost less latinum if you're missing them. So if you have no 1 days, then use all you buy those. So if you have a 10-day research, then your 10-day and 8 hours, then use 10 days worth of 1 day speed ups. Even if you're using latinum, it's going to cost you less latinum. You know what I mean? But if you're using 15-minute speed ups and you got thousands of them, and you can use all those first, so that you're not spending any latinum. But in my opinion, keep it balanced. I would use some latinum. When you're running really low, so use some latinum and use some of your available speed ups, because you might run out of latinum and you might need those speed ups for something really important later. So try and stockpile and don't use them all. But
no, I was just curious because I have. Let me pull up how many speed ups I have, because it's somewhere in the ridiculous range.
Well, and keep in mind too, we're looking at the building speed ups is a particular choke point. So the repair speed ups, those are relatively easy to get through dailies, and you know I do have a fair stockpile of those. But the building speed ups, they typically tend to be more elusive. I've found that there is a decent supply of those that come from the Armada chest. You know, if you are pulling, I know people complain about the efficiency of the G4 Armada chest. I actually pull the G4 uncommon one every day. It's loaded with speed ups, and probably gets me in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 days, depending on my luck, worth of building speed ups every single day. But again, if you're pushing 4 researches a day, I mean, that it doesn't go anywhere. You know,
Right.
every day it's gone.
Is it just me, or does this speed up talk sound so much better since DJ sounds like a chipmunk?
It's not that bad. Don't listen to them, DJs. Don't listen to them. So,
Listen, everybody, just if you focus on your speed ups and you balance them out really, really carefully,
This is glorious.
you can make them last a lot longer.
hey, guys, Dogs has joined us.
It's Porky Pig. Porky Pig.
That's amazing.
Sorry, Dogs. I had to give you a shout out, buddy. Love you.
The speed ups have a beginning, a middle, and we wrap it up.
That's all, folks.
Yes, that is all, folks.
That's the best.
I don't know. I mean, for me at my level, at level 50, you're buying speed up packs. That's just all there is to it. You know, because you're never going to get enough out of the game to keep up.
Handy, don't you have to buy packs to do anything in the game?
No, there's a lot of stuff I grind out, quite a bit actually. I mean, comparatively to a lot of the level 50s on this server, they buy packs for everything, but I grind a lot of what I do. I just buy packs for speed ups, sometimes mats. That's about it. I mean, all my officers are all.
And you buy packs for new content because you have FOMO.
Yeah, I do. New content, I'll buy a few packs. That's true. Like the Meridian, I bought a few Meridians, so you know.
You mean 15 of them?
But then, like no, I've only got 3 that I use. I have 4, but the 4th one I haven't leveled up. But I have 3 maxed ones. And when they were doing the event, they offered the what is it? The warp whatever thingamabobber that you need to use to tier it up, to get the warp drive tiered up and whatnot. There's 2 different things you needed. And now they offer them in a pack. Well, I got all those during the event with event points that I had won from winning events or placing in events. I didn't win in a bunch of events, but I placed and had plenty to get all those different, you know, little warp things. So I got them all maxed out without really buying any packs for them, aside from buying the ship itself. So I maxed them all out just by grinding. I didn't buy any ISO emulsion packs or anything. I just ground it all out.
That's so on level 50 of you.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't throw good money into bad. I buy packs when I have to, not just because I feel like it.
Speaking of grinding, do you like? Where's your rep at? Are you doing major grinding for?
I'm a fairly lazy grinder. I've got Fed locked, and I'm working through ROM now. I am pretty low.
Just
on
for
ROM.
edification, that's the second lock at 1 billion, not the 10 million.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Fed's locked at $1 billion. I'm working on ROM now, and I've only got 200 million, so I'm pretty low on ROM.
Are you looking to get any particular ships?
To that point, grinding rep, especially at the super high levels, like, you know, when you're hitting 45 or 48 or even level 50 hostiles, there comes a point where you really lose a lot of efficiency. Like, just the dailies themselves give so much more. I mean, to complete your dailies might equal, you know, 2 or 3 hours of grinding red. So there comes a point, like, how valuable is your time? Because, you know, a red
totally correct.
Yeah, a red might give 5,000 or 6,000, but doing your daily rep gives you 3 million. You know, so how at some point, you know, where I've kind of hit this point myself, I'm not spending 2-3 hours grinding, you know, because it's a better use of my time just to let the progression go day by day with the rep events and the daily events. So there gets to be to that point too, and he talks about throwing good money after bad. You know, how much can you spend in resources, for example, to grind out the same amount of rep that you could do in one rep event by upgrading a building or a ship component or something like that. And truthfully, you'll probably spend far less in resource just to kind of let that natural time gate carry you through. Well, it'll take longer, obviously, but it's far more efficient.
Which is how I maxed out Fed. I mean, I didn't do a whole lot of grinding in Fed, to be totally honest. For Fed, I let it naturally happen, and I just did all my dailies every day, and eventually I got there.
You have to look at the, like I tell people all the time, like, talking about just arbitrarily grinding rep. It's just a waste of resources. You wait until something overlaps. Like, okay, now I need more broken ship parts. So, you know, and it just kind of, as a natural progression of you looking at other goals, it will carry itself.
Well, if you look at it this way, I can either let my rep kind of rise naturally by doing all my dailies, and I might get, 3 million a day, or I can go do all that and then also go spend a ridiculous amount of try and whatnot to repair my big ships to go grind level 50 hostiles. Not only am I spending all that time, but I'm spending all those resources to gain an extra 50% speed, maybe 100%. Maybe I'm doubling the speed of how fast it's going to happen. So, maybe I get there in 6 months, or I get there in 3 months or 2 months or whatever. But I'm going to have to expend an exorbitant amount of resources to speed that up. And I'm just like DJ said, throwing good money after bad, and I'm just not willing to do it most of the time.
I mean, some of those dailies can give, if you add them all up, it could be 3 to 5 million rep. And I've seen players go out and grind for an hour and pick up an extra 500,000. I mean, you can definitely speed it up that way. But like all things in this game, you look at your refinery and the increased cost of batches. You pay a premium if you want to go faster, and a lot of times it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
You got to find dual value in a lot of the areas in this game. Like if you're grinding, like that with face the enemy, instead of doing the Federation ones, because I'm building my Fed rep. I went and killed Klingon hostiles. It took longer, but I mean, I got more out of it because of that.
Right. So a lot of times, if I go grind, I mean, I'll do it up to the point of my dailies. Get my my 25 level 50 kills in, and things like that. Make sure all my rep stuff's done, and then I'm done grinding. I don't spend a few more hours up there just killing reds.
Well, you can hit Borg probes, right, and buy rep that way using Borg probes.
Yeah, but it's negligible amounts.
Is it at level 50?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's locked to the Vidar. I actually have stopped buying that bundle because, I mean, what is it? It's like 100,000 rep, and it's just a drop.
It's not enough. Yeah,
I do have a big complaint. I've got one big complaint, Tech Man. Is I came here for like Jerry Springer shit, and we're talking about game education. Like, what the hell is this?
that we were talking about all that stuff when you weren't here. Then you
I
came
just need to
back.
hear. I just need to hear somebody yell at somebody. Like that's what I'm here for.
Hey,
You
Andy.
suck.
I would
Andy.
love that.
Andy.
Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah.
Andy.
What?
Fuck you, Andy.
Fuck you too, buddy. Son of a bitch.
Hey, what is your name?
DJ, I dare you to do an entire podcast with just like this.
No, he can't.
He can't do it. He would lose too many viewers.
Or he'd gain so many more. One or the other.
It could go either way. I don't know.
It is.
So
It's a 50-50 shot right here. Absolutely.
It's usually dumpster fire over here, but only when we have something to dumpster fire.
Yeah, I tried to stir shit up. I got when you weren't here, my Meridian was hit, and I was contemplating whether I'd pull a Handy and declare a one-man war on that alliance.
And I told you you should.
You have the right.
Yeah.
You have the right to play your way, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, so what I would do though, however, Cook, thank you for giving me the idea, is I wouldn't declare a war on that alliance. I'd declare a war on their sister alliance that has territories and just wipe out their territories.
Yeah, that's the way you should do it. And besides,
yeah, that's a better use of my time.
Yeah, guilt by association, that's legitimate.
It's very important though, when you go to war with them, just don't refer to AJ by anything other than Admiral Angry.
Hey, Bo has his hand up. I'd like to, if you can, bring him up to the stage. He told me yesterday that he was willing to come on your show for the 15 dumpster fire. He told me the only condition was he wanted to be able to throw chairs. I'm like, buddy, you can't throw chairs. I said, but you can throw couches after you've lit them on fire. Like
Yes.
that's the scale of which we're expecting here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're pretty wide open here.
Oh, no,
We're all
if you
about
want-
confrontation and cheap pussy jokes.
Oh, I'll give you tons of confrontation. Because I've been so busy talking to you guys, I ended up making chili con queso for my breakfast.
Thanks for sharing, Cook.
Congratulations.
I
Wow.
figured.
How do we turn that into dumpster fire? Chili con queso sucks. You're stupid.
Well, I can mute him for 5 minutes and see if he gets pissed.
No, just tell Cook he doesn't know how to cook. And
You suck, Cook.
Hey, aren't we supposed to be bringing up somebody from the audience?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What happened
bring
with
up
that?
Fo. Let's
Yeah.
see what chairs he has to throw.
yeah, FogOfWar 15. There you go.
Should we stop recording and restart? Just kind of end the show here and make a second show?
I'm just here to talk shit to DJ. That's the only reason why I wanted to come up.
Tell me,
No,
DJ, please. Let's make this interesting.
Yeah, this is the environment in which DJz does not have control.
Yeah, please talk
I
shit.
will be happy to accept and return said shit to Fo on 15.
No, I love you. I actually don't have any shit to talk.
Damn it.
what the fuck is wrong with you?
God damn it.
Your sole fucking purpose was to come here and talk shit to DJs, and you can't fucking do it. What the fuck is wrong with you?
all kinds of things. I got bullet points ready. You ready?
Yeah.
What a wuss.
No, I had to come on because I was really enjoying, his Minnie Mouse voice. So I just wanted to come and say hi.
Oh god.
Listen, Bo.
Alright,
You gotta
so,
hit that push the talk button.
Yeah, gotta mash that button.
dude, tech. So the title for this show is going to be called Ad Hominem.
Yeah.
I can split it up into two segments. I could talk about normal fucking game bullshit, and then we could have just this part, and that's just gonna be DJz the Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
Minnie Mouse.
Jesus Christ.
Minnie Mouse.
Only if he talks in that voice the whole time.
Agreed.
Mighty Mini.
Agreed. I'm in.
What's going on, DJz?
Oh, hey kids, you want some candy? How about a free puppy?
All right, tone it back, guys. We're getting into like pedophile shit.
I'll do it again.
This show is derailed like all of our other ones. Once we get to the end, we just start talking shit. There's no rhyme or reason.
Pretty much.
Wait, so DJ,
I'll fucking
can you do me a favor and talk in your radio voice, and then like auto switch to your Minnie Mouse voice?
Oh my god!
Yeah, there you go.
I need to go get $10,000 of equipment and plug it into my phone, and it might be able to work.
Oh my god! When this episode comes out, somebody at Scopely is going to be face palming like hell.
And that's the intro.
There you go.
Ad hominem, or we can call it Trek palm or Trek face palm.
Or just put it as untitled.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll accept as an untitled submission.
Well, then just title it "Sorry." We're sorry.
I apologize.
Purpose not
sorry,
found.
children. Yeah, there you go.
So CaptainMarkRedAngel, you're from Server 20. Give us some Server 20 juicy tidbits.
Juicy tidbits. Oh god.
What kind of ridiculous crap happens over there?
Well, we have one alliance that just are complete dickheads.
Oh, who are they?
I think every server has them.
Blast them here. What's their name?
Iron assholes or Iron Armadas? I don't know.
Iron assholes.
Iron ass. Yeah, that's what we call them.
Hey, Iron sucks. You guys suck ass.
Yeah. Screw you guys. Now come on and fight us.
Oh wait, you're on the same server as Rev Deuce, right?
Yeah, he's had to deal with those guys too.
So tell us your story. Tell us your famous Rev Deuce story.
Oh god. Okay. All right. So Rev was just starting out with his YouTube stuff, and I didn't know him from anybody. So, but we were adversaries. So his alliance was fighting ours, and he decided to change his name during a battle to try and, I guess, goad us. And I took his name and kept it for a year and a half. So everybody on server 20 knew the only Rev Deuce on this would be me, not him. So on top of the confusion and him trying to, I guess, do his videos without his name on all the.
What I want to know is, did you ever go on to any of his live casts and try and fly through the screen with his name?
Oh yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
I made a point to do that. I killed a couple of his ships on screen. He got a kick out of it at first.
At first.
But I mean, there was never really a whole lot of trouble. I mean, like he wasn't focused on server 20 at that time, so he was just trying to build his YouTube channel. So it wasn't like he was super pissed about it. I think he liked it more because I was actually promoting him. Like people would DM me and they're like, "Hey man, it's a great show," and I'm like, "Okay, well, subscribe it, like and subscribe." Come on back and thanks for your support.
That's awesome.
So I mean, that kind of drummed up some business for him. So I guess he was cool with it, and then eventually he wanted to get back into doing hardcore videos. So he asked me after a year and a half,
Took
"Can
a
I have
year
my
and
name
a half
back?"
for him to ask. That's awesome.
And I was like, all right, I guess I've had it long enough.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I thought you guys were absolutely teasing about the sound of my voice, because that's a real thing. Except then I started hearing Mark talk, and I'm like, that is not what he sounds like. Like, so I just rebooted my Discord, and now he sounds normal. I bet you that my Discord was glitching with my voice to begin with. Now I really can't wait to listen to this on playback. Was it really bad?
Yeah, it was.
It was.
You sound
Dude, when
you sound normal now, almost.
when you first came on stage, I thought that it was somebody impersonating you. I didn't think it was you.
Oh
Yeah,
my
me
dear God! Now I'm really excited to hear what it sounds like. That was a Discord glitch. You know, funny thing is, like, I mean, obviously, voice processing and computer software processing, it can change the sound of a person's voice. But now, like, if Discord was like truly making me sound like a munchkin, I'm really pumped to hear that. Damn it, Discord!
You were.
That was amazing.
Discord, God bless.
No, you
You
sound
do sound a lot better now.
Yeah.
That's so epic, amazing.
Yeah.
This is gonna be the best show ever. You got to promote it, DJs.
Although it's not the best example of how awesome this show can be from time to time. But
Well,
No,
yeah, I hear Mark talking, and Mark sounds like, you know, a 7.5 foot tall ogre, and I'm like, wait a second, he sounds.
Wow.
DJ, did you hear the episode that? I know you listened to a couple of them, but did you hear the one that was? Let me set the tone for you. I was sitting in a channel, and we were just sitting there after a recording, and then all of a sudden, a bunch of people from some other server, I don't even remember the server, came on, and they started cussing each other out and accusing each other of sexism and being like all kinds of crazy stuff. So I just randomly hit the record button, and I sent Handy a message. It was like 1 a.m. my time, and I was like, "Dude, you got to get in here now." And I don't remember, Tech, which episode was that? Because that one was gold. Like, they were.
I don't
You want to talk about
think it's
dumpster
been
fire?
released. I don't think it's been released. I tried looking for it.
it is. It has been released. It's I think it's episode 45. It's called Server 38 Saga Continues.
Okay. I just back far enough.
I'll put that on my
Let me-
list.
Let me find that. I can pull it up. It's episode 48. The Server 38 Saga Continues. And yeah, I recorded a little pre-message saying this conversation started mid-conversation, and it's the dumpster fire you're all looking for, so enjoy the episode. And it literally starts out with people going like, well, if you do this, I'm going to hunt you down wherever you go and blow up your ship. I'm like, oh, okay. Sounds good.
Fucking perfect. It was amazing. It was amazing. It truly was. That was a good night.
Definitely rated R.
I think Kirk is making more chili con queso in the kitchen.
Yeah, Kirk, mute yourself. God damn it.
Fuck you.
Background noise.
I think we're just about done here. Unless Darius has something to say.
Oh, we can go to the after party and keep it going.
That's true. That's true. Darius, you get the last word before I wrap up.
Oh God.
No pressure.
Yeah, right. No pressure. I was
Please
busy
make
off.
it include expletives.
I was
Lots of
trying to get Disney to DMCA your podcast, Tech. I was busy. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Is it a Minnie Mouse comment?
No, nothing special to add. Although I was curious for DJs. Did Scopely reacted to your custom mods of their fancy little Windows client yet? And was that did anything roll downhill on that? Because that felt like it might.
So actually, Scopely has responded. They're interested in having conversations about what we've been able to do with it so far. And like I said, we have every intention on releasing that. As a matter of fact, Ripper came out and kind of owned it over the last 48 hours. So for those of you who are curious who the modding genius was, it is our very own hero to all, champion of the player, Criminal Ripper. And we will be releasing that mod publicly a little bit later today, actually. So I don't know how it's going to work, if it'll be a downloadable or a zip or whatever. I don't know, but we are going to be making that available to players. As far as Scopely's reaction to it, Scopely was extremely interested in some of the changes that were made, and in particular in how some of the bugs were solved, because Ripper's gone in and, for example, it's not just scalable UI, it's resizable window, it's Stella warp timer, the Jelly warp timer. Yesterday he fixed Pike so that Pike doesn't display for protected cargo or expanded cargo, like with Ston. He fixed Pike so it doesn't display with Cadet Scotty for warp range. Just, like housekeeping things, So Scopely has been very interested in adopting some of that and working with Ripper and I. So we're actually really, really optimistic. Like, I'm really, really pleased that they were interested in talking about the changes that were made instead of, don't do this or don't talk about it or don't release it, So I'm actually really, really optimistic.
That's awesome.
I'm really, really optimistic.
That's really
That
cool.
is amazing.
So
Man.
they're gonna start
I couldn't be happier to hear that, dude, because that's a huge, what's this big 180 on their part, considering.
Are they going to pay Ripper since he's basically doing the job of a developer?
And Ripper is extremely humble. I mean, you guys have listened to him and gotten to know him over the last year and a half. He doesn't want it. I mean, honest to goodness, like one of his biggest things, when we're having this conversation with Scopely is like, it's, for a lack of better terms, Scopely even asked, what's in it for you guys? And Ripper's plain response is, as a champion of all players, I mean, his response is simple. It's a better game experience for players. He's like, I don't want anything. I don't want any money. I don't want any contracts. I just want the game to be better, and that's honestly what drives him. It's what makes him so special. He's such a genius. He doesn't acknowledge the genius that he is, and he's uncomfortable when I praise him that way. But I mean, he really is just, he is a level above, when it comes to this stuff, and he does it selflessly. He wants the game to be better. He saw the client and said, I can make this better, and now, he has, and Scopely has taken notice, and even better, Scopely is interested in taking these fixes, not just for the PC client, but being able to backtrack them into the native iOS and Android clients, which may not be quick. It may not be quick, but now we actually have definitive code-based fixes for some of these long-lasting problems, and they are interested in implementing them into the mobile client, which means the work that Ripper's doing here on the PC client will have long-lasting implications for 100% of players, and he is just doing it. He's just doing it because he can and he wants to, and I think that's just, I mean, he is a hero.
That's awesome, man.
That's fantastic.
Please send him our thanks.
And thanks again for helping me turn this to keep it nice here at the end, DJs. It's nice and friendly, right?
Yeah, what the fuck, Darius?
Fuck you.
You suck, all of you.
Yeah, totally suck.
All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for joining me here today. CaptainMarkRedAngel, FogOn15, UltimateDJz, DariusRex, Red Eye, Cook, Foxy, and everybody else who was here and left. Thank you all for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, do all those social media things that everybody asks of you. This has been Trek Talk. I'm TechMan16.
I'm Handy.
And I'm Kirk.
And I'm Mickey Mouse.
And we'll see you guys next time.